What's happening, guys? It's the Wandering Hermit back again, just to do another entry for the 2018 YouTube Pagan Challenge, this time on the letter D. So I've chosen to talk about dreams today, which it's a topic I'm a little bit unsure on, because it's like, what are dreams? I can't actually pin down what dreams are. Now, I usually have a theory for everything, but when it comes to dreams, I'm completely stumped. The only thing that I can think of when it comes to dreams is that, in the same way that the universe communicates to us through numbers and through mathematics and nature and things, the mind, or the consciousness, whether you want to call it something that's generated from in here, or the higher self communicating down to us, communicates in symbols. So dreams are the medium through which the unconscious mind, the psychological archetypes, and thus the gods through those archetypes, communicate to us in our sleep, through a series of symbols and allegories, as it were. So I personally think that dreams are one of the most important things that we can possibly focus on in our magical practice. I've got a dream journal, which I use quite regularly. If I wake up from a very strange dream that I can remember, because very often I can't remember my dreams, or I only remember fragments of them, and I can't remember the overall context in which that particular sequence of events happened. If I can actually remember a dream in full, then I write it down. And even if it has no symbolic significance to me at the time, more often than not, I'll go back to it months or sometimes years later, and it will suddenly have significance. And I think, wow, I don't know why I was reminded of this dream. And I've just gone back and looked at it, and suddenly there is, the message that I needed at this time. I think because the human consciousness acts outside of the constraint of space and time. I think dreams are our way of leaving messages for ourselves in the future, because it's something that we experience in our own minds, and it's personal to us. Hello, Kiara. And it's something that we can revisit after some time. So it's a way of imprinting certain messages in our subconscious minds for us to actually pick up on later on when we actually need it. For example, I remember having a dream many, many years ago in which I was walking along a ridge in the middle of a very, very steep hill, maybe a mountainside. Down the bottom of the mountain, there was a wooden village with a pub and houses and all the such things. And then up the top of the hill, or at the top of the mountain, there was a big manor house. And I remember going down into the village. Here's a crossroads, so that I'm travelling parallel between the two, and then hit a crossroads that joins the manor to the village. So I go down into the village, and I enter this pub, and there's loads of people there, and there's an old woman talking about the importance of spiders and how many different species of spider there are. And I found this rather unusual. Well, not unusual. It's not out of the ordinary, because I have a fascination with animals. I don't particularly like spiders, but they are fascinating creatures. So I just thought, yeah, that's my brain talking to me. Anyway. But then somebody else is talking about the fact that people have been going missing from the village, and then suddenly I'm shifted from the village pub into the manor house at the top of the hill. And there are two twins running around playing hide and seek in these grand halls. but they're not hiding from each other. They're playing hide and seek. They think they're playing hide and seek, but they're actually hiding from someone who wants to lock them away rather. And this fellow, he walks into a room, and I'm watching as an observer, but no one can actually see me. I'm not really there. This guardsman, whatever, walks into the room, and the twins are hiding in a very, very dark corner. He can't actually see them because they're perfectly still. They're wearing dark clothing, and they blend in. So he walks off. And then they run out into the corridor. And then one twin turns around to the other, and she's suddenly gone. As if they've walked behind a curtain. As if what we see is a curtain, and that person's walked behind it and disappeared. And so the child starts to panic. So I say, I'm suddenly there, and the child can see me. And I say, don't worry, I'll help you find her. So we go walking around this place. And we go through a hidden passage in a wall, and there are loads of stairs crisscrossing passages, and it's like that bit in Labyrinth. The old film Labyrinth, where there's all the stairs, and they're like, some of them are upside down, and some of them are just like, they kind of twist into completely other dimensions and such things. That's very much what it reminded me of. In retrospect, because I had no connection to that at the time. I don't actually think I'd seen the film at the time, because it's just one of those films that I was never exposed to as a kid. I'd never watched it. It was never on television or anything, so I'd never seen the film before. And then about a year afterwards, I was shown the film. Oh yeah, you've got to see Labyrinth. It's one of the classics, blah blah. So I watched it and went, oh my god, that's my dream. So then I formed that mental connection to that part of the film and what that part of the film represented to me. I thought, that's interesting, because that means that that part of my dream from a year ago is now significant to me. It now actually has meaning. After that, when I finally get to the bottom of these steps, the child finds their twin, and they run off into another passage, disappear. And there's loads of people above, in the stairs above, looking, searching for them. So I'm like, right, I'll just get out of Dodge, go through an archway, find myself in this dark chamber, like stone cellar, with wood tables everywhere. I realise it's like a cellar, like a pub cellar. Loads of barrels everywhere, tables and chairs stacked up. Completely dark. I'm thinking, am I underneath the pub? I must be underneath the pub. And then the old woman from the pub appears. And she's holding this brightly coloured arachnid in her hands, and it's massive, and it freaks me out. And I'm like, no, you keep away from me with that. And she has this kind of maniacal look on her face, and she throws the spider at me. But I kind of jump out the way. And then another one appears in her hand, and she starts throwing these spiders at me. So I'm freaking out, and I run out the room, through a wooden door, down a long dark passageway, and I see light through another door at the far end. So I run through, and yeah, sure enough, I suddenly come back into the other end of the pub where it started out. And this woman's following me with this big scary looking spider. Now I turn around and grab a stool and throw it at her, and it hits her, and suddenly it's like a mask falls off, and suddenly she's not an old woman anymore. She's my friend from school, and he's wearing this big stupid jokey grin on his face, and everyone looks at me as if to say, why did you do that? And I say, you're trying to kill me. And it seems to end there. And I thought, well, how is that significant? Obviously, I didn't realise the labyrinth was significant until about a year later. But about 5 years afterwards, I came into my association with the gods Loki and Dionysus, both of whom are represented by spiders. And I thought, right, this is somewhat interesting, because the spider represents initiation, the whole idea of being bitten by the spider in the Dionysic mysteries, was to put you into an altered state of consciousness because of the venom of the spider. It gives you hallucinations and such things, and it was part of their initiatory rite. I thought maybe the old woman wasn't trying to harm me. Maybe because she morphed into my friend at the time. Maybe that was trying to tell me that the old woman was supposed to be a friend of mine, and she wasn't trying to harm me. She was trying to initiate me into the dark mysteries, the mysteries of Dionysus and Loki. I thought, okay, I'll do more research in this. And the more I actually looked back over the dream itself, the more little symbols I found. And when I looked at the significance of those symbols, it confirmed what I'd originally thought. Holy crap. It was a dream trying to make me wake up, trying to initiate me into the mysteries of the shadow self, the parts of myself that I've denied. The trickster aspect, the hedonistic aspect, and all those things. So that experience taught me that dreams are very, very powerful. Now, not enough focus, I think, is put on dreams. I think dreams are often passed off as, oh, it's just your imagination. It doesn't matter. It's just your mind cobbling together little fragmented bits of memories from your life and whatever else, other bullshit excuse that psychologists come up with to explain what dreams are. But Jungian psychologists look at dreams as significant markers to, tell us, our subconscious mind telling our conscious minds something important. It does hold messages. Obviously, psychologists will say your dreams hold messages as well, but it all comes from within you. It's nothing that comes from outside of yourself. Personally, I think that some dreams do come from within us, but some of them do come from outside of ourselves. We receive these dreams from other places or other realms, whatever. It's interesting to note that Sigmund Freud was actually one of the first people to demonstrate through experiments that people can actually share dreams. This is another thing that I've experienced quite a few times, especially with my wife, because we've got a very, very strong emotional and mental connection. We have a kind of psychic link, you could say. So, when she's had a dream, I've had a dream that is similar, but not exactly the same. It's as if we're viewing the same situation from two different perspectives, and we're going off in different directions and doing different things. However, we will each recognize what the other was wearing in the dream, or what the other was eating in the dream, or just what we were doing. It's like we were both in the same mental space at the same time. Now, to ordinary psychologists, that's not possible. I mean, you're two separate beings with two separate consciousnesses. You can't possibly. There is no dream space that you can share. So the whole idea of sharing dreams is ludicrous to the mainstream psychological or psychoanalytical field. But I think that the dream realm is actually not a physical space as we know it, but it's a space where multiple people can inhabit at the same time. And I think it all comes down again to everything that I do in my magical practice comes down to the theories of resonance and frequency. So if we're looking at dimensional levels as simply different vibratory levels of matter or energy, I think the dream realm is an actual plane of existence which vibrates at a frequency which is different to this physical world that we're experiencing here. And therefore, if one mind is attuned to that resonant frequency, that's where you go. When you go into dream state, your brain waves go from being like this to being like that. Very, very smooth. So if two people reach the same brainwave frequency around the same time, and they are combined, or not combined, what's the word? Conjoined, where, you know what I mean. I know what I mean. Two people basically are connected through, their emotional ties or whatever, where they share pheromones or I don't know. but somehow their consciousnesses are linked. So when they both go into that same stuff, when they're both like that at the same time, they occupy the same ethereal space. In theory, I think that's how it works. It makes sense to me that that's how it works. It made sense to Sigmund Freud as to how it works. But also, I think that other entities, other spirits, other deity even can occupy those spaces as well. So if you go into a dream state and deity appears to you, it could be that you are projecting the image onto a part of your own psyche. It could be the psychological archetype that you're experiencing in that dream. But I did another video, but I wasn't able to put it up. It got deleted by mistake, where I actually talk about the link between the psychological archetypes and deity as archetypes of the cosmic web. So if the universe, both physical and energetic and ethereal, is a giant cosmic mind, the gods act as psychological archetypes of the cosmic mind, of which every human being is a microcosm, and therefore our consciousness is a microcosm of the cosmic web. So it could be said that our psychological archetypes are just little tiny miniature versions of the gods and goddesses. So through that, through as above, so below, it could be said that the actual physical deities, those individuated consciousnesses, communicate to us by using our psychological archetypes as a conduit. It's possible. It makes sense to me. So in the same way, if you experience deity in a dream, it could be a psychological archetype. If it is, it could also, through proxy, be deity speaking through that archetype, because the archetype is just a conduit for you to speak to divine energy. Speak to, communicate, connect with, whatever. Whether or not you can actually speak to deity is, a bit of a controversial matter anyway. Either way, dreams are powerful. So if anyone's just getting into the practice, or if anyone's been on their path for a while but they've not really focused on the dreams very much, I would advise, from my own experience and from other people's experience, to keep a dream journal, first of all. Analyze your dreams regularly, even just at random. One day, if you're bored, you've got nothing to do, pick up your dream journal and just read through it. Because there will be something that jumps out and you go, wow, I'd completely forgotten about this. And it will be significant to you at that time. And more often than not, especially on those days when you're really bored and you're feeling a little bit aimless, that little thing from the dream, when that hits you, it can change your mindset completely. And suddenly you'll be filled with this vigor and you'll go, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's really confirmed something to me. I want to do this now. Or you'll suddenly have drive to do other things. So it's a very, very helpful exercise to document your dreams, analyze your dreams. Also, there are a couple of things that you can do to help with lucid dreaming. I'll talk briefly about that because I'm coming up to 20 minutes. Lucid dreaming is basically where you're in the dream, but you are fully conscious of everything that you're doing. And whatever happens in the dream, you have the mental power to change it to whatever you want to do. If you're falling down a set of stairs, you can say, right, I am falling, but it's okay because there is a mattress at the bottom. Suddenly a mattress appears and you fall onto the mattress and you just get up and carry on because you've consciously made it happen. To do this, there are certain meditations you can do, there's certain chants you can do, there's plenty of information online and there are plenty of books written on the subject. So if you're interested in lucid dreaming, then it is really interesting. You should get into lucid dreaming. It's fun. When you actually start to get the hang of it, it's really, really fun. It gives you this sense of real empowerment. And whatever you can do in your dreams, if you can manifest in your dreams, you start to manifest in reality. It's certainly a good way to go. So yeah, have a look at lucid dreaming as well. That's a really fun idea. You can use certain sigils, usually from the Solomonic or John Dee systems of magic. There are certain sigils or symbols that you can use. You can meditate upon them before you go to sleep, and they put you into a certain state of mind, so that you're more likely to dream certain things, or you're more likely to be able to actually share a dream with somebody. Again, there's a wealth of information on this on the internet as well. So if you're interested in dream work, then get on Google. Google is your best friend. So until my next video, I will wish you all much love, many blessings, and hopefully you'll be able to go through life without cats crawling all over you whilst you're trying to do a bloody video. So till next time, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.